Wanna cause no problems. I just wanna live my life, but I keep on hearing about nonsense. Me and my dons ain't mobsters, but you know when you see imposters. We know how to read them faces, same way you know how to read them comments. If you wanna talk, let's talk, but around here, make sure you walk and your talk is constant.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Death to Vanilla podcast, and I'm so excited you're tuning in today. I'm your host, Stephen Burkhart, and today is a solo episode. So a couple of weeks ago with the kickoff of season 4, I had unpacked an incredible slogan that I heard from someone that I had on my podcast, Tyler Lieber. If you haven't had a chance to go check it out. And he had mentioned a slogan on there that I unpacked using the brand story framework. And so check that out. Today is a slightly different show. This is an Ask Me Anything portion of the show, where whether it's conversations I had with people, whether someone reached out to me with a specific question they wanted me to answer on the show, or whether it was something I found on Reddit or, one of those other threads, Ask the People or something like that. It's something that's very common that a lot of people are asking, and I want to be able to address those things based on my expertise in video production and social media marketing. So today we're going to be tackling the question of how many platforms should I be on? This is very common because there's kind of like this Gary V type thing where you're supposed to be making, 20 pieces of content a day, and you're supposed to be distributing them in as many places as possible. And there is an absolute truth to that. And I think that businesses who have the pockets deep enough to be able to produce quality content that is natively relevant to each platform, meaning that like when you go to it, you're like, oh yeah, this belongs on TikTok, this belongs on LinkedIn, and they are absolutely not the same kind of content, then you should do so, right? But I think for a lot of businesses, even like small to medium-sized businesses, are not going to be able to have the capacity to be able to have that kind of output and to perform well on different platforms. And the reason I say perform well on different platforms is because there's actually a key piece that most people are missing when it comes to their content strategy. And the piece that is missing is that people forget that your engagement with your audience is a part of the algorithm. All right? People think that because they have like the most attractive thumbnail, or because they've got like the best hook or the content's good, that is going to mean that they're like reaching their maximum effectiveness. And while all those things are like very important pieces of the pie, especially when you're starting out and you don't have content at volume and maybe you don't have a baseline to work off of, the reality is your engagement with your audience is not only going to be really the entire point of being on social media, but it's also going to be a part of what actually boosts your profile, what its views are. One of the things I always find really interesting is like sometimes I go back through my follower list when I'm like cleaning it out, and I'll find someone that I actually really like, but I haven't engaged with their content very much. And so like they just won't show up at all. And so like they won't show up in like, especially on Instagram, they won't show up in the story feed. They won't show up in my actual like grid feed. And part of what impacts that is my interaction with them and their interaction with me, because their interaction with me or your interaction with your audience is an indicator that there's like actual real conversations happening. And those real conversations are an indicator of value. And all of these platforms do not push profiles or content that doesn't add value. So if you Hi there, Stephen here, the host of the Death to Vanilla podcast, and I wanted to take a second to step away from our conversation and tell you a little bit about our sponsor, and unsurprisingly, my own company, Burkhart Creative Agency. A lot of business owners pride themselves in their word-of-mouth growth, and while that is a powerful marketing tool, the businesses that we work with are looking to scale, and they can't afford to wait for someone to tell their next-door neighbor about their company in the hope that one day that might become a client. Why would you put the future of your company's growth in a process that you have no control over? Businesses that are looking to scale are looking to increase their volume of customers in their existing market and or expand into other verticals, but have limited resources, time, and skills to do it. Bringing in an in-house team is expensive. It takes a lot of time, and they still not be able to strategically execute to get your company in front of the right people. Burkhart Creative Agency provides information that business owners like you can use to make data-driven decisions through a combination of market research, statistics, and a deep understanding of your business so that the marketing videos created are the most most effective for moving a business towards its revenue goals. All of this resting on over a decade of video production experience. If you want to move forward this year with confidence, knowing that you have a plan, that you're in control of where your business is heading, and you have the videos that can make that happen, schedule a time. There's a link below. Click on it. Schedule a time with me. We have a no pressure phone call where we just see if we're a good fit, to see if we want to move forward or not. Let's get back to the show. Publishing and not interacting, that has less value than if you were to publishing less but interacting more. So it's something to think about. That's just like a big piece that's missing from a lot of people, is like your engagement with your audience is a key piece of the algorithm saying this person has value and they're adding value to the people, the people are responding, and so we should show more people this stuff. And so I think that's really important. So, what's the takeaway, right? Should I do more engagement? Of course, that's an incredible takeaway from hopefully what I'm challenging you to do. But really, there's another piece, which is that if you're a business operator, or you're maybe like a part-time or fractional like CMO or marketing person, you probably don't have the time to create a bunch of content and then also be engaging on every single platform. There's just limits, you know what I mean? And you got to kind of pick and choose your battles. And so my suggestion to you is pick a single platform. Like I've typically picked Instagram as a platform, but what I'm finding is that like my engagement with people goes so much farther on LinkedIn. And so like I just haven't posted a whole lot on Instagram. And so, I would encourage you to do the same thing. Find out where people are engaging with you the most, responding, actually like having conversations with you, having any sort of ROI from the interaction other than just like likes and views, and double down on that. If that means, restricting the amount of content that you post on other platforms, I would do so, because just posting and not interacting is not going to be doing you a whole lot of good. So, if you're just starting, just pick a platform and own it. If you are been in this for a while and you find yourself stretched a little too thin, feel comfortable cutting down the amount of platforms that you're on so that you can really go deep on one. Because the reality is like the value is in the audience. The audience is the thing that you can monetize. And if you are having a bunch of different platforms with a bunch of different followers that are not engaging, you don't have a real audience. And so, just build some relationships on one. And then as that grows, as the ROI of that grows, then you might have more resources to be able to, hire someone to engage more or expand the role of the person who's currently involved and be able to actually reproduce that same level of intentionality that you had with one platform with a second and then a third and then a fourth and grow it from there. There's nothing more like odd to me than a platform that has 10,000 followers and they're following 0 people. That just like reeks of billboard, and that doesn't work anymore. So I encourage you to find one platform, rock it. Thank you so much for watching the show. I appreciate it if you would subscribe and like this video, share it with someone who really needs encouragement to just get focused. You know what I mean? Be sure to check out some of the other episodes. I've got 2 episodes out so far as of this recording with different guests. We have lots more to come. This is season 4, so there's a lot of amazing business stories from business owners, helpful tips and tricks from marketers that I have on there, and I'm excited to have you on. Thank you so much for watching, and catch you on the flip side.
Wanna cause no problems. I just wanna live my life, but I keep on hearing about nonsense. Me and my dons ain't mobsters, but when you see imposters, we know how to read them faces, same way you know how to read them comments. If you wanna talk, let's talk, but around here, make sure you walk and your talk is constant.